Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NXT The Game Season 3, Episode 31. This is NXT The Game proudly presents NXT Takeover New Year's. We are ending 2017 with a bang. Let's get straight into it. We have a crap load of stuff tonight. Longest show ever. Let's get straight into the action. All right, we have two pre-show matches. In the first pre-show match, in a match that has some good action but not that much way of heat, TM61 defeats the Revival in 13 minutes when Nick Miller defeats Dash Wilder by pinfall with an All Hail the Kings. TM61 has won the Best of 5 series against Dash and Dawson. So they will likely be moving up the rankings in the NXT's tag team division. And in the second pre-show match, and about that featured great action but not that much way of heat, Sasha Banks defeats Asuka in 13 minutes with the Wheelbarrow Bulldog. So basically we have two fantastic pre-show matches before we even get into the show. We have freaking 12 matches total, 20,000 people here at the Izod Center here in New Jersey. Let's get straight into the Takeover special, the live event. NXT Takeover New Year's, Season 3, Episode 31 of NXT The Game. We are heading into 2018 and after tonight, folks. Welcome to NXT Takeover, everyone. We have one crazy show for the first time ever in NXT history. We'll be running 10 matches aside from our Legacy WrestleMania pay-per-view show. The card is so stacked from top to bottom. The programs have been going on forever, and we're kicking in 2018 with a bang here tonight. It is literally Sunday night, New Year's Eve. The camera cuts to the ring and shows Samoa Joe with a microphone nodding along to his theme. That man is about to officially issue an open challenge to Corey Graves. Who's going to accept? Who's going to accept? The camera falls in on Samoa Joe again. A few weeks ago, says Samoa Joe, I said I was going to come out here, issue an open challenge, and that's exactly what I'm doing here tonight. The fans cheer. I don't care if you're big, small, short, tall. Get your ass out of here. Joe wants a fight. Samoa Joe drops the mic as the fans start to chant, Joe, Joe, Joe. Who's it going to be? Asked Corey Graves. The lights go off and come back on, and standing atop the ramp is the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels, a man Joe's knows very well. Corey Graves says, it's the fallen angel. The camera focuses on Joe as he smirks and back on Daniels, who points to him with a smirk as well. Joe's in-ring demeanor seems a little bit annoyed, but begins to stretch out and awaits Daniels, who high-fives all the fans and makes his way to an NXT ring for the first time. He's on loan for one night only. Joe looks around as the fans have stopped with the Joe chants and began with the Daniels, Daniels, Daniels chants, which has caused Joe's mood to change here. And in about that featured great action and a good crowd, Christopher Daniels defeats Samoa Joe in 20 minutes by pinfall with the Angel's Wings. Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe just don't click at all, and it showed in their performance. Well, that doesn't make sense considering Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, and AJ Styles had one of the greatest matches in the history of wrestling that I recall seeing. But that's a little disappointing rating. Samoa Joe loses to Christopher Daniels here, though, on NXT Takeover, and he is not happy. After the match is over, Christopher Daniels pops up and begins to celebrate in the ring from turnbuckle to turnbuckle as the camera shows Samoa Joe with his hands on his face, upset that he lost. As Joe watches Daniels go from corner to corner, he gets angrier and angrier. Joe's on the last corner, pops up and sprints to Christopher Daniels, grabs him and turning him around, hitting a muscle buster. Joe walks and lands another vicious muscle buster in the middle of the ring, sending Daniels into the air, thriving through pain as the fans begin to immediately turn on Joe, who stops, looks into the camera, and flips off the entire NXT universe. Joe is screaming and screaming into the camera now as a few referees are helping Christopher Daniels. Samoa Joe has just turned tails on one of his best friends in the wrestling business. So we're going to do it. Excellent. Alrighty. Next, we get a video hyping the main event for tonight of Kevin Owens taking on Sami Zayn with Triple H as a special referee for his NXT Heavyweight Championship. That's right, Kevin Owens of Manifest Destiny will finally get his shot at the NXT Heavyweight Championship owned by his former best friend, Sami Zayn. Now, in about that featured great action and average heat, Charlotte defeats Bayley in 7 minutes via pinfall. Charlotte defeats Bayley in 10 minutes via pinfall. This was just a grudge match for the two ladies who have been fighting over the past couple months to get both of them onto the big card, and Charlotte gets the victory here tonight. A limo is now shown pulling up and stopping. The driver gets out and opens the door, revealing Triple H, who's special referee in tonight's main event. The driver gets up, out, and opens the door, revealing Triple H, who's a special referee in tonight's main event when Sami Zayn defends his NXT Heavyweight Championship against KO, Kevin Owens. But we already know this. I'm just continuing to bring it and burn it into your head because I'm very excited to see that Kevin Owens-Sami Zayn match. I have not even ran a house show with him. Now we get a video running down the feud and program between Enzo Amore and Bobby Roode. They're up next. And about that featured great action and average heat, Bobby Roode defeats Enzo Amore in 8 minutes with the payoff. Bobby Roode gets his first NXT TakeOver victory. glorious Bobby Roode with the victory here over Enzo Amore tonight at NXT Takeover New Year's. We see Mr. and Mrs. NXT in the back getting ready for their respective matches. Tonight we'll see Mr. NXT defend Mrs. NXT defend her NXT Women's Championship against the women she cashed in on, Becky Lynch. And we'll see Mr. NXT take on Andrade Cien Almas, with the stipulation being that if Mr. NXT wins, Almas is his lackey. But if Almas wins, Mr. NXT can never wear a mask here in NXT again. Who will win? We'll have to find out. But in the next match, that featured great action and have a cheat. Anderson and Gallows defeat American Alpha, the Bucks, and Breezango when Carl Anderson defeats Fandango with pinfall. Anderson and Gallows make defense number 2 of their NXT Tag Team titles. So American Alpha, who lost to Anderson and Gallows, last big show when, Anderson and Gallows came out after beating up the Bucks and basically just put themselves into a match against American Alpha. American Alpha still has yet to get a one-on-one rematch. The Young Bucks, after having been jumped, have, aside from fighting them at 153, haven't really got Anderson and Gallows alone either. And Breezango, basically, after winning the Cruiserweight Classic, takes the loss here with Anderson and Gallows retaining the championships. I apologize for talking so quickly. We're going to move on, though. The fans boo now as Kevin Owens showed up on the screen with Charlotte, being exhausted behind him with a smirk on her face. Sami Zayn, in about, an hour or so, Sami Zayn, in about an hour or so, is going to wipe his feet on the ring, climb inside, and go one-on-one with the most dangerous opponent he's ever faced. The fans boo. But Sami knows this. You see, everyone knows mine and Sami's story. I don't need to go into details again. So let me tell you something you don't know, but something you should know, but something that's new regardless. The fans pause. It took me too long to finally get my shot. It took me too long to get a match with Sami here in NXT. So I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to do whatever it takes to leave tonight the NXT Heavyweight Champion. I promise. The fans boo. One more time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the pay-per-view, everyone, because I'm putting on one hell of a show tonight, and I'm leaving with the NXT Heavyweight Championship. The scene ends with Kevin Owens leaving with Charlotte. Like I said, he goes one-on-one with Sami Zayn in the main event. Now, about that featured great action and average heat. The Miz defeats Neville in 10 minutes by pinfall, illegally using the ropes for leverage. The Miz beats Neville and wins his NXT Men's Money in the Bank Championship briefcase. Neville is absolutely shocked that he was not only putting it online, but he lost. He is no longer the Money in the Bank contender, and the Miz has the briefcase now, which could not be a good thing for either Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn, given the unpredictable nature of the Miz. Now we go through the entire La Sombra / Andrade Cien Almas program with Mr. NXT over the 3 to 4 months. Tonight it comes to a head for the last time. If Mr. NXT wins, Almas is his lackey. If he loses, NXT can never wear a mask again. And about that featured great action, but not in the much way feat. Mr. NXT defeats Almas in 6 minutes by pinfall with a hangman's clutch. Andrade Cien Almas is now Mr. NXT's lackey, and the masks stay on for Mr. NXT. After the match, Mr. NXT just smirks at Andrade Cien Almas, whose hands are in his face. The referee is being told to hand Mr. NXT a microphone as Mr. NXT takes it and peers down at Andrade. "So you're my lackey now," says Mr. NXT, smirking. "Lackey. Go home until I call. Nobody needs you here." The fans boo as Mr. NXT leaves Cien Almas in the ring, wondering what's left of his professional wrestling career. So Mr. NXT gets the victory. He keeps the mask on and sends Almas home. Says, "I don't need you." All right, the camera now finds Tom Phillips sprinting after Samoa Joe. "Joe, can I get a word?" Samoa Joe stops and looks at Tom. Phillips: "Why did you attack Christopher Daniels after the match? Daniels and you go back years. He was just here to accept your open challenge that you set out. What happened?" Samoa Joe looks at Tom Phillips, who slowly backs away and out of the picture as the fans boo Samoa Joe as he towers over Tom Phillips, trying to intimidate him. Joe looks off into the distance as the camera fades. Why did Joe do what he did? Why did Samoa Joe turn heel? I'm sure we'll find out soon. Now we get a recap of Mrs. NXT winning the NXT Women's Money in the Bank match and cashing in on Becky Lynch, who at 153 had just won a 6-woman elimination tables match. We get the rematch tonight. Becky Lynch gets a chance at the NXT Women's Heavyweight Championship of the World that is currently held by Mrs. NXT. Now, when about that featured great action and average heat, Mrs. NXT defeats Becky Lynch in 13 minutes with a fast roll-up. Mrs. NXT makes defense number 1 of her NXT Women's Championship. Becky Lynch loses in her contractually obligated rematch, and Mrs. NXT gets the victory shortly after her man got the victory, and there will be some celebrating in the NXT household tonight. We see Austin Aries debut and win the number 1 contendership match now in a video package showcasing the NXT Light Heavyweight Championship Battle Royal. We then see Austin and Gargano going at it, arguing, and then see highlights heading into the match coming up. The NXT Light Heavyweight Championship match between Aries and Gargano is on the line and is on the line next. Gargano puts on that NXT Light Heavyweight Championship, and Aries is going to try to win it. And about that featured great action and average heat. Aries defeats Gargano in 10 minutes by pinfall with a brainbuster. Aries wins the NXT Light Heavyweight Championship. He is your new NXT Light Heavyweight Champion. That is Austin Aries defeating Johnny Gargano here tonight. All right, next we see Sami Zayn in the background getting ready for his match in the main event with Kevin Owens. We've been really hitting it hard tonight because I'm really hoping for a good rating. Next, we see Hideo Itami in a video package turning on Apollo Crews, then Shinsuke Nakamura showing up and standing on the ramp as Hideo is stopping. Nakamura plays his role as our WrestleMania legend well, aka Legacy Legend. Nakamura and Itami get into it, and we see clips of the program and how it's led into this match. Itami, Nakamura, main event, or semi-main event, next. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. Oh, pretty good. And about that featured great action and average heat. Shinsuke Nakamura defeats Hideo Itami by pinfall with a running single leg high knee strike in just over 20 minutes. Nakamura with a long, hard-fought match here over Hideo Itami. Both men, I'm sure, are going to advance in their careers here in NXT for just having this match, but Nakamura remains undefeated here in NXT with a huge victory over Hideo Itami. Next, we get into the histrionics of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens over the years. We fade into Triple H being involved, losing to Owens back-to-back legacies, and vowing at NXT 153 to make sure that their match is on the up and up. Owens, Zayn, NXT Heavyweight Championship. It's coming up next, and it's going to be the best match we've ever put on, I hope. And it's not, but that's okay. It's a good match. In the match, it had excellent in-ring action and a good crowd. Sami Zayn defeats Kevin Owens in 25 minutes by pinfall with a springboard tornado DDT. Sami Zayn makes defense number 3 of his NXT Heavyweight Championship, and Sami Zayn retains over Kevin Owens. After the match, Triple H, having called a fair match, just looks at Kevin Owens in the ring. Having just seen the disappointment in the ring, face-to-face, laughs, drops to his knees, and exits the ring. Kevin Owens sits in the corner, fuming as Sami Zayn celebrates in the middle of the ring as the NXT Universe chants his name, Sami, Sami, Sami. We fade out as an excellent, a spectacular at times, NXT Takeover New Year's event with Sami Zayn standing tall and Kevin Owens after years of wanting a title shot, but Regal not allowing it. Very, very sad. End of TakeOver, folks. Sami Zayn retains over Kevin Owens. The match ratings weren't as good as I thought they were going to be, but we told great stories here tonight. Sami Zayn with the victory over Kevin Owens. Triple H, no shady business. Sami Zayn retains. Kevin Owens takes the loss, takes the L on his back. Let's see what the overall rating for the show was. Ooh, an 81. Excellent. The show, that's the second best rating of all time. Best TakeOver for sure. The show has increased our popularity in 4 regions. This was NXT The Game Season 3, Episode 31, NXT TakeOver New Year's. Thank you for watching. We are heading into 2018, folks. What does 2018 hold? I don't know. All these programs are going to be ended, aside from the Aries Gargano, probably. Actually, that might be ended too because they were an awkward pairing. But thank you for watching this 13-minute video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in a couple days.